We are starting out with our player. And we're going to have some different classes with our player. So I'm going to make a file called player.py. That is going to hold all of our information about the player. Our class is going to be called player. If I can remember, is that a colon? I think so. It doesn't say to do this, but if we look at my example, how can I do a player and put in all this information at once? Yeah, we need to have an init that creates all of those attributes at one time. So we're going to define, and there's like a built-in thing where if you do /_I, and then you see that little init showing up there, that's not AI. That's what's called IntelliSense, meaning the program is sensing that's what you want to do, so to speak. And if you tab, it'll fill out the whole loop that you need, like the init and the self and all that. Well, we know we're going to put in parameters for this. So we would put in all of our parameters. As soon as I find the instructions, I can do that. There's the instructions. And so we're going to have name. We're not doing first and last in this case. We're just doing name. We're doing position. We're doing jersey. Number. And then we're doing goals scored. There. Now what do we do next?
The final is like self dot.
Just like that. And we do it for each of them. Because we're bringing the information from the outside and storing it internally. Self allows us to do that. That jersey number equals jersey number. And we have one more, self dot goals scored equals goals scored. There. When we create our object, we will have all of these attributes, properties created, and the information will already be in there. So far, so good. Right, Hudson? Okay, right? Right, gentlemen back there? We're all paying attention because I'm going to have more questions. So far, Savannah has answered all the questions. So in our participation in class today, she gets an A. You guys are just getting like sitting there like lumps on a log grade. Okay, so the next thing I say is we want getters and setters for each attribute. Do we need getters and setters for each attribute? Not necessarily, no. So how do we create a getter for self.name? What would we put in?
Define get name and then return self.name.
They always need this. Did you say the self part?
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, we return self.name. And all the getters will be the same. Do we need to have those? Well, if we put them in now, we have them in case we decide to expand our program later and do other things and be able to pick out the attributes. So, Benjamin, how do I define a setter?
Define set name.
Yeah.
So you put so the name equals
Yep.
So the name equals
Because I have to have that for the pass the parameter in. When I'm doing set name on the other end, I have to put in the name. And yes, you're right. You started with the self.name. So notice how this is exactly the same as this. It's the same idea. We're lining up the parameter with putting it in. And in this case, since the name's already created, we will be modifying it afterwards, right? So what if one of your players gets married and they change their last name, or they change their name just because they want to, which you know, people do. I have a friend that's changed his name like 3 times now. It's like he's had a lifetime identity crisis, is what I tell him. So far, so good. Well, we haven't done anything to test any of this yet, have we? So, let us create our application file. So we are going to have, I'm just gonna call it team app. I think that's what I called it, didn't I? Sports team. Yeah, I'll just call it team _ app. The reason I'm putting app in there is to distinguish that that is the application that's going to run and use these classes and objects. So to start out with, how do we bring player into our program? And we're down to Hudson or Ernesto.
Import that player.
Exactly, that's it. Import player. We're importing the file, which means now we have access to all the code that's in the file. So that the Python program will know about it. So say I want to create a player and store it as an object. What might I do? Your last but not least here, Ernesto. What do you think? How would I create a player? You can look up a tutorial. It doesn't matter how you find it. You don't have to know it off the top of your head. You could do a ChatGPT or whatever.
How do I create the player's name?
The player object.
Object?
So for instance, we're going to have a Ernesto. Is that how you spell it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ernesto is going to be a player. So that's the object, right? And if we look over here, we have to put in the name, position, jersey number, and the goal scored. So I'd put in the name, Ernesto. Oh no, I forgot what position. Oh, there it is. Position.
Striker.
What is it?
Striker.
Okay, I don't know what a striker is. That is a real position, I'm assuming.
Yes.
In what game?
So
Soccer.
Okay, yeah, see, that's how much I know. And then the jersey number, what's your jersey number?
11.
11, okay. Now the goal scored, since we're just starting out, we're gonna set it at 0 because this is the beginning of the season. Yeah, you haven't scored any goals yet. So now that creates an Ernesto object. Well, that's great. We can create the object, but how do we know what's inside Ernesto's object? I have no idea. So. Oh, I say method to this. Okay, so we're gonna do the string method that returns a formatted string. And I have method display all players, but that's not something we would do in here. So yeah. I did this, but I didn't proofread it apparently. Because you can't display all the players with individual objects. So this is going to be modified. So we're going to create a method that displays, we'll just say display player, or just say player info. Now, when I say str, what am I referring to? An str method. Yeah, I'm returning a string. I should have said a method that returns it instead of an str method. I should have just said a method that returns a formatted string. I don't know where I got that from. So if I'm going to do a formatted string, I don't print. I want to do it as an F string. And so then I would do, we'll just say self.name. And we'll put a comma and we'll say, I think I'll just put in the variables. I don't need to do anything else. Then we do self dot. What is it? Self dot position, comma, and then we do this self dot jersey number. Yeah, I can always put in text later, but this at least lets me know that it's working. Which is a good thing to know that it's working. Self dot goal scored. There we go. Oh, there it is. Goal scored. So I'm going to assign that to a player details variable. And then I'm going to return that. And return that information. If you don't want it stretching clear out into the horizon, you know, clear out to where the sun sets, you could do this. We do flip, we cut it off, we do player details plus equals, and we have a new string. And that's exactly the same. Oh, I'm missing something. This is exactly the same as the way I just did it. We end up with a big long string. But I don't have to have it in one line that's hard to remember. But maybe we don't want it all in a line. Maybe we want it this on the second line. How do we do that? How do we make this go on the second line? Does anybody remember that escape character?
Selection.
Yeah, slash M. That's kind of a universal escape character for strings in almost any programming language. That forces the next part to go to the next line. And it's called escape character because N doesn't mean print N anymore. It means new line. Go to a new line. Well, let's see. How do I use that method? There it is, player info. I call the method, which returns the string, and then what do I need to do to display it? Starts with a P. Yes, print. Because I'm returning the string, that doesn't display it until I actually print it. What do you think? See if it works. Whoa, baby, I made it work. Ha, first time. That's amazing even for me, and I programmed a lot, but because there's always some little wiggly thing that you miss. I worked with a student in Computer Science 1. Couldn't figure out what was going on, so I said, okay, let's use Copilot to go through there, and then it came out that it was a missing comma. One missing comma. It's easy to just jump by. Miss that. So I have to modify my directions in here. So I'm going to close that out for now so people don't get started into it and it gets really confusing because it's not correct. Somebody's gotten it done, so they figured it out. It's not impossible to figure out how to do it from the directions. I would just prefer that my directions be a little better. Right. Okay. So the next part is something we've not done before. We're going to create a new file that's called 18.py. And it's going to be a class. So do I need to type all this stuff in again? No, I'm just gonna, okay, now I remember how to do it. So I'm going to do team. Class team, sorry. Class team colon, I'm going to define my init. Then I'm going to have the same thing that I had before. It's going to have a team name. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do the team name. And the part that's different is players. Remember the list business that we've done? You can have a list of objects. Ooh, I'm gonna have to put a little more detail in there about that. Okay, so we can do a, we need self.team name equals team name, right? Self.players equals players. There. So far, so good. And I'm gonna have to expand on that. Because we need a method to add a player to the team. And actually this is going to be a list. So that's not exactly the syntax to do it. I'm gonna have to look that up because we want to create a new list. So when I can't remember anything, something, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, how do I define a list? Oh, I hope it doesn't like, let's try that again. Oh, there it is. My list equals, there it is. So I'm bringing in my list. So it's already a list coming in. I don't have to do the brackets there. Okay. Cause when I call this and I create my team class, that's where I'm gonna make my list. In my team app, I need to import team. I've created Ernesto, I'm gonna put him on a team. I'll just say, what's the name of your team, Ernesto? Cougars, okay. So there's your Cougars team, it equals team dot team. And we're going to insert the name of the team, which is the Cougars, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the name of the team. And we're going to have, we need a list of players, so to do that, we would do this, 'cause then it'll be an empty list. And then we add people later, which I'm not gonna get to today, probably. Yeah. As far as the video recording, this is a good place to stop because I need to revise the directions slightly to make this work. So I will finish up the video either Thursday or I will record it in between. That gets you started at least. As always, ask questions as we're going. If you have any questions now, you can take a look at it. I'm thinking we need to move this one into another. Cause that's a longer project than I thought, so we're gonna move this one out to next week. And probably remove one from next week. Cause next week's Thanksgiving and we don't wanna have all huge kinds of things next week. Right? Just a couple of days, okay, so I'm gonna take that out of here. And this may or may not be in here either, so I'm gonna invisible it till I take a look at what we're doing. Okay, so that makes it a little better. We got rid of one. Okay, we have the team, we have the tutorial, we have another tutorial and the project. Yeah, that's manageable. So let's look at let's look at the game. We got serious there for a while. Let's look at Pygame. Everybody ready for learning more gaming programming? Sure. I've been using Tractor Pong because that's my game I made. I'm not proud of it at all. I mean, it's kind of a rip off of Pong, but it works. Does anybody know where the term "it's time to move it" comes from?
Madagascar?
Yeah. So I was very clever and put that into my directions. It's time to move the tractor. Yeah, I think I'm funny. And I am sometimes. All right. Let's look at that. And we're almost there. Tractor Pong. Get down to open the code. And we're in tractor. Okay, one of the things I didn't look at when we started doing this was the assets folder. Second here. Everybody get the assets last time without a problem? Whenever the assets were in there, the little zip file and all the pictures and stuff, I think everybody did. I haven't been through all the Pygame stuff yet. Okay, that was like a non-response, so I'm gonna keep going. All right.